They were going through some turmoil in the inner locker room, and they caught Minnesota, who's probably not taking them seriously.
Yep.
They're a team that needs so many parts and so many things. It's almost hard to watch and hard to be even a Bills fan.
22-0, and the first touchdown ever to Jimmy Graham, who got his first official Lambeau leap. Congratulations. Buccaneers, Bears in Soldier Field. 6 touchdowns from Mitchell Trubisky, 5 of which in the first half. I sound almost like Dr. Phil at times when I'm talking. I don't know.
It's all good.
I'm just hearing that like Southern almost coming at me. So if I'm not speaking like a regular New Yorker, that's okay. You know what? Gotta try something different. But anyway, he matched. Yeah, he was one shy of tying Sid Luckman for the franchise record. In fact, Sid is tied with several other quarterbacks for 7 touchdowns in a single game, and this was unbelievable. You know what? Maybe we're seeing the second coming of Sid Luckman in Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, I don't want to anoint him yet. He did a very good job, made a lot of great decisions.
And Khalil Mack strip sacked.
Khalil Mack strip sacked. I forgot about that one. Yes. I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I thought Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to be slinging them. I thought he was going to get a few picks but get a few touchdowns. He basically lost the job, and now it's officially Winston's.
Yeah, famous Jameis. If you really think he's that famous, he's not. To me, at least. They both had a combined 3 interceptions. This was the poorest playing I've ever seen, but you also have to account for the massive injuries that have taken place in that secondary. Vernon Hargreaves, they're missing him dearly in that secondary.
Big key piece that actually keeps the motor running.
Oh, yeah. Even with Levante David and Gerald McCoy, they can only do so much up front. But they lost 48-10. It was the biggest thrashing they had on the year. Browns, Raiders, overtime. They're up 42-34, the Browns, and the Raiders come back with a game-tying touchdown and 2-point conversion by Derek Carr, and McCrane gets the game-winning 29-yarder in overtime. Raiders beat the Browns 45-42. First win for Chucky in 9-10 years.
Yes. We're talking Tampa Bay, I think, was the last time he received the win, correct?
Yep, the last time.
And now, I bet you that's probably bittersweet. He's been waiting for this since week 1, since he got everything said and done and took over the team. And I'm a big fan of Derek Carr. I think he just needs a little bit more. But definitely, this team is there, and I know it's just the Cleveland Browns win, but it's a win nonetheless, something that they needed to get them started and moving forward.
Without a doubt. Lions, Cowboys. The Lions had the lead. They had a 2010, they were trailing 2010, and Stafford led the Lions 75 yards to Kerryon Johnson for an 8-yard run. And then what was crazy in this game was Golden Tate's 8 catches of 132 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day, including a 38-yard eclipsing zone coverage, which he was great at. But it was Ezekiel Elliott, 240 all-purpose yards on the day, including a 34-yard completion from Dak Prescott, setting up the game-winning Brett Maher, no relation to Bill, 38-yard field goal as time expires, and the Cowboys win 26-24.
Yes.
Oh, Frank Wright, the idiot. I'm sorry, I know that's not nice.
That was a little harsh.
I know. And I'm sorry, Frank. I take that back. You're not...
Frank rolled the dice. He was going for that hard 7. He snake-eyed out.
I can't believe I just called him that on live TV.
It's
My
all good.
apologies to you, Frank. Because, after all, you are a pretty smart guy. You did get the Eagles to a victory. Your offense helped the Eagles to their first championship in franchise history, and you got a job because of it. So that makes you actually smarter than what I was doing right now. So my apologies. Anyway, but it was not the smartest move, what he did. They're 4th and 4 at their own 43. They have a chance to tie this game with 24 seconds to go. Instead, he wants to go for the victory, and they couldn't convert. With enough time, the Texans take the ball. Big completion from DeAndre Hopkins for 24 yards, setting up the game-winning 37-yard field goal by Kaimi Fairbairn. They win 37-34.
Yes.
And it was just...
It's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
You had a shot, but then again, hey, Lady Luck turns the other way. They make it. Next thing you know, they drive down, they win. Everybody's taking their cap off, tipping it to him, and Frank Wright's a genius.
But A lot of congratulations, though, to Adam Vinatieri on breaking Morton Anderson's record in the game. He had a 42-yard at the end of the first half with 2 seconds left to do that, and he extended the record to 567 with a 44-yard. He had a few field goals last night in the loss to New England, and it was great. It was great for him to be back with the team that he basically is responsible for 3 out of their 5 Super Bowls.
That man was like an automatic. Once they set it up, perfect.
So, yep, the Texans win 37-34. They win their first game after losing 9 straight, the longest losing streak in the NFL. The Jets, of course, go to Jacksonville. They lose 31-12. Bortles had 2 touchdowns, 388 yards on the day. He looked like Joe Montana practically. And they had 503 total yards, and the Jets were choke artists, except in the second half they got some scoring. But big whoop-de-doo. Otherwise, A.J. Bowie and Jalen Ramsey could have had an interception.
Yeah, you just got to breathe heavy. Just let it out on that one. Just, Jet fans, don't worry. It's going to come back around soon.
Yeah, soon. Sorry, I know. I sound so optimistic. Here we go.
Don't be a pessimist.
I know. Week 5, teams on the bye. Chicago Bears coming off that big victory against Tampa Bay. Mitchell Trubisky leading a really good team. And you have to like the emergence Khalil Mack. A sack and a strip and a fumble. In 4 straight games. First time since 2005 when Robert Mathis did that for the Colts.
Yeah, I remember that too.
So it's really just unbelievable. He's worth every single penny that they've doled out to him and then some.
I said it at, I think, week 1. That's the type of player you build your team around. You don't want to lose a guy like that to anybody.
Buccaneers, with Jameis Winston back, at least he gets the week to sort of get himself familiarized with the team again.
Yeah, acclimated, get everything back in the flow. Timing might be a little bit off with his receivers, but give it a week and he'll be fine.
And he has a good array of receivers. You have Deshaun Jackson. You have O.J. Howard. You have Mike Evans.
Ooh, O.J. Howard's still out.
Still out.
Got Cameron
Brate.
Brate.
Yes, and what they need to do is utilize Ronald Jones. They got to get him more carries on that offense.
Yes.
And the defense, though, with the injuries to the secondary, that is an issue that could hurt them for the foreseeable future. And we mentioned earlier, of course, the victory for the Patriots over the Colts. Now let's go into the in the neighborhood game, Giants, Panthers. What do you think about Cameron Newton?
Cam Newton, I think, is going to do what he does best. I hate to say this. I know I'm going against it, but I see Carolina handing the Giants a beatdown to drop them to 1-4.
Let's put it this way. If they couldn't stop Alvin Kamara, who had 3 touchdowns on the day, ran roughshod all over them for 180 all-purpose yards against the Giants, they're going up against Christian McCaffrey, who just came off a career-high 184-yard performance against the Bengals 2 weeks ago when they beat them 31-21. And with Cam Newton being able to run the way that he does, and the absence of Olivier Vernon, this is a recipe for disaster. I got the Panthers winning this one.
Yeah, you're going to have a linebacker spy just on Cam Newton alone, then another linebacker for Christian McCaffrey. You're going to not have enough pieces and cogs to stop that. That's going to be like a dam with 30 different leaks. You're going to have a guy sitting there trying to poke holes to fix it, but it's not going to happen.
Speaking of leaks that are going to be taking place, the Jets have the Broncos at home. But here's the thing. The Broncos from last year and this year are 0-5 in Eastern Time Zone games. So the Jets are actually favored by a point. That's the thing. By a point. That's being very charitable and nice by the odds makers in Vegas that they have them winning. I'm sorry. Not that I have won that much money, or I'm not a bookie or anything, or a professional gambler of any kind. And not that I would ever consider the profession, because knowing me, I'd probably lose everything but my shirt. Nonetheless, though, I got the Jets losing this badly by 2 touchdowns. I think Sam Darnold, I don't know why I said Blake. I'm thinking of the last game. But I got Sam Darnold basically being intercepted 3 times by this Broncos defense.
I'm going to go against you. Well, I'm going with you saying that that the Jets are going to lose, but I'm thinking it's going to be 6 to 7 points. And I think it's going to be Bowles knows that his job is going to be soon coming under fire and under pressure.
Oh, with that,
I think he's definitely going to be working him a little extra hard this weekend today, which is Friday, and maybe a little bit more on Saturday before they go out in the field. Because right now, you don't hear it yet, but I give it another 2 or 3 more weeks. If they start spiraling worse, they're going to ask for this man's job. You've been there 2 years prior. This is your 3rd year. You don't want to go another 5-win season. You need to show progress and moving forward. I give it to probably around week 8 before they start hearing the chants and saying, hey, maybe we need a change or a different direction.
Without a doubt. But I definitely do not see, the Jets prevailing whatsoever. The best game of the week, the number 1 scoring defense, the number 1 scoring offense, the immovable object versus the irresistible force.
Yeah.
Basically, this is Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. This is Ricky Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage. This is John Cena versus The Rock. This is
Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah,
You gotta
brother.
shake those ropes, baby.
And believe me, this is a titanic, epic match. 2 teams. Basically, this could be a preview of the AFC title game. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Jalen Ramsey versus Tyreek Hill is probably going to be the matchup of the day to look out for. I still got the Chiefs winning this because Patrick Mahomes is going to be one tough man to try and stop. This guy threw for 100. Yep.
Throws it with his other hand.
Out
Phenomenal.
out of the pocket, he had 188 yards last week. Out of the pocket.
Did you see what he did? The guy was chasing him down. He's running with the ball in his right hand. He's about to get sacked this side. Hands it off to his left hand and then throws it left-handed.
Yep. The only way.
Unbelievable. Never seen that before ever. And I've been watching football for over 35 some odd years.
And you've never seen
I've never seen it where a guy changes his hand and throws it with the opposite hand.
Yep, he is he's the Terminator sent from the future. He's working for Skynet. No,
The best I've ever seen was maybe a shovel pass from Jim Kelly from the Bills to Thurman Thomas using his other hand, but that was like a shovel pass. No, this guy threw more than 10 yards downfield with the opposite hand.
So I think
Still in shock.
I got you down for Jags and no
know.
for Chiefs.
I'm going for the Chiefs. I see Chiefs and Hunt all day, every day.
Both teams looking for a victory. I got the Falcons winning on the road.
Wow.
I definitely have the Falcons. They're going up against a questionable secondary and defense, which, if you look in the past weeks, the way Ryan's been playing, he's going to take advantage of the Steelers. And look for even though the Falcons are missing pieces on the defense, I think they have enough in place. I think Vic Beasley will get the best of Roethlisberger.
Oh.
I see
Big Ben and Tomlin. I'm going the opposite way from you. I see Tomlin getting their act together and realizing we do not want to finish at the bottom of this division.
It should be a good one. Dolphins, Bengals, both 3-1 teams. I definitely got the Bengals emerging victorious, tied for first in the AFC North. This is their year to shine, and we're going to see some other tight ends coming up for the Bengals. Besides Tyler Boyd
and Croft, isn't it?
Yeah, Tyler Croft as well. We're gonna C.J. Uzomah is going to be the number 1 actually, and Eifert's going to be the backup, which I don't understand that. But if you look at Uzomah's physical size and a lot of the red zone plays he was involved in last week, especially on the game-winning drive, I understand. But I got the Bengals winning this against the Dolphins by 3 points. I think it's going to be that close of a game. Probably one of the best games of the week.
Nice. I'm going to go with Cincinnati, too. I just don't think that the Dolphins are really gelling. They still haven't found their rhythm or their stroke. And I could definitely see Cincinnati beating it up on them. A.J. Green.
Vikings-Eagles rematch of the NFC title game in which the Eagles stomped a mud hole in the Vikings 38-7. This time around, it's not going to be as big of a mud hole, but I still think the Eagles emerge victorious by 14 points.
Wow.
I like Carson Wentz and seeing Alshon Jeffrey back. Yeah, he's going to have yet another great performance this coming week. And look for the for Kirk Cousins to make even more mistakes this week, despite the fact that they tried their best against L.A.
Yeah. Well, L.A., good team, hard to stop. I see the defense slowing the Eagles down a little bit. I could see it by a shootout and going down to the wire at the very end.
Redskins, Saints, Monday night, 201 yards. That's all Breeze needs to pass Peyton Manning's all-time record for career passing yards. That's not only going to happen, he's going to get that and then some. And the Redskins, yes, they're coming off their bye. They're 2-1. They've had some good victories, but they had a confounding one against the Colts. I just do not see them going into the Saints' place and with the return of Mark Ingram being able to overcome all that. I got Saints all day, every day. Who dat? 10 points.
Yeah, I could see the Redskins having a little bit of a problem. I could see Alex Smith doing his thing. I can see Adrian Peterson running the rock. Let's hope that ankle holds up. I think he was questionable. He got hurt right before the bye, so it's 2 weeks. But, I see the shootout coming down, and I could just see Drew Brees it's like going to a gunfight. Drew Brees got 2 6-shooters. Alex Smith got a slingshot. You need to work on it, buddy.
Yeah, it's not a
fair fight.
It's not a fair fight for sure. The Battle of Texas, everybody, in the great Lone Star State. Yeehaw! Cowboys everywhere. You got the Cowboys and the Texans. I really like this matchup. This is only the 5th time, and yet Houston is down 3-1. The only time Houston won was 0-2 when they debuted as a franchise in the first game ever as a franchise.
Yep. I could definitely. I'm going the other way. I'm going Houston Texans. I think the defense starts muscling up, and I just hope that they're able to hold off and cause chaos for Dallas. So I'm rooting for the Houston Texans for this one.
I'm going opposite. I'm going
Cowboys.
I'm going Cowboys in this one, especially the way Elliott has played the last few weeks, and the defense has done a decent enough job to get the Dallas Cowboys offense into really good winnable positions in these last few weeks. But especially the sacks that they're maintaining on the opposition.
Yes.
I think the Cowboys definitely pull off the victory by 10 points. Look for Prescott.
I'm looking for the upset.
3 touchdowns.
Let's go upset. Everybody likes when the dog pulls through sometimes.
L.A. Rams, the undefeated team, going against the Seahawks in one of the loudest stadiums, the 12th man, CenturyLink Field. But remember the last time this took place, the Rams actually beat the Seahawks 42-7. Gurley had 4 total touchdowns, 3 on the ground and receiving, and had less than 100 yards and still managed to have that game that he had. Now, you look this time around, the Rams have him. They got Cooper Kupp. They have, Sammy Watkins. They got Brandon Cooks. Not Sammy Watkins, Brandon Cooks. They really have a great array of receivers and Todd Gurley.
I like Cooks. I like Gurley. And all I have to say is 5.
Oh yeah, and even with Bobby Wagner, it doesn't matter. The Seahawks defense are going to now have an even tougher time now that Earl Thomas is gone for the year.
Yes.
Goff is he's a kid in the candy store, and he's going to take advantage.
Over the top. He's going to be going after it.
Oh yeah. Packers, Lions. This is the 187th meeting between these two long-storied rivals, and last year the Lions swept the Packers for the first time since '91, but let's not forget last year who was absent. Aaron Rodgers. Exactly. He had a broken collarbone. He was sat out for the one game, and then the season finale, he was put on IR. The season was pretty much over for the Packers. Lions were able to win. This time around, AR is back, and he's going to basically have a field day with the Lions.
Yes.
Career numbers, he's 13-3 against them.
I could definitely see also Detroit and Stafford scoring some points. So I don't think it's going to be a walk away. I think both teams are going to make it to 30 points and over. Oh, yes. I think this might actually be a shootout between Stafford and Rodgers, but I think Rodgers wins at the end of the day.
I think the strategy will be running the ball heavily with both teams. I think you got Aaron Jones and Kerryon Johnson, intriguing, but I think in the end of the day, I think Aaron Jones might have that 100-yard game this week. Ravens, Browns, AFC North rivalry matchup. The Browns could be 4-0 if it wasn't for field goals and some questionable play calling last week and a questionable penalty that was called on them last week too against the Raiders. Now the Ravens right now are tied for first with the Bengals. That's pretty good, because Flacco was staring at possibly being benched this year for Lamar Jackson, but why? Look at what Flacco's done with the new receivers he has.
Yes.
And the Browns have an almost new lease on life. This is a much better Browns team than I've seen in years past.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with Baker. Baker's coming in there. He just, like I said before, revitalized the team, the fans. Like, even if they're not winning, they're competitive. And that's what you want. You want your team to at least be in it. You don't want it to be the second quarter and it's 17-0 and the offense isn't moving. You're ready to pack it up, pack it in, and say, all right, this game is done. No, this kid actually has a lot of guts, sticks in there, and makes a lot of good decisions to keep his team in the hunt.
I still got the Ravens winning this. Definitely by, I think Hayden Hurst, who's making his regular season debut, the rookie. Yeah, he's going to have a 2-touchdown day. Look for him to do that. But Nick Chubb, if the Browns want to win, they got to pound the rock with him. Yes, he had 3 carries of 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. They got to use him more. And
yeah, he broke for that, I think, 63-yard touchdown score. And it's hard because they don't really do running back by committee. They're basically fully supporting Carlos Hyde.
Yep.
And Chubb is actually the 3rd string. He's not even the 2nd. So I think you need to start mixing it up. Maybe get fresh legs out there and just keep rotating in and out. All three running backs.
Like Earth, Wind, and Fire for the Giants.
Yes, the Giants had that with all 3 of them. That was great. You had Ward. You had the big one, number 27. He was like a wrecking ball. Miss him.
Yep. That was a great time. Raiders, Chargers, AFC West matchup. Let's put it this way. I got the Chargers winning this. Even without Joey Bosa for yet another week, they're still 10 times better than what the Raiders have to offer. The only way the Raiders win, they got to pound the rock constantly with Marshawn Lynch and with Doug Martin. Keep Rivers on the bench, basically. That's the way they'll win. Otherwise, I don't see that happening. I think the Chargers, especially with Derwin James on the defense and the way they like to play Gus Radley's defense, confusing offense with diverse deployment, talent, and really just hammering it and utilizing Derwin's talents on blocking assignments. I got the Chargers winning.
Yeah, I have the Chargers winning too. Chucky's going to come hard, but I think he's just going to fall short in the 4th quarter.
And talk about an unfair matchup, and I mean, this is really unfair. Titans-Bills. Remember when they played each other, 99, the Music City Miracle game? You know, that was when the Titans won that game against the Bills. They went on to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they had Eddie George. That's a whole nother realm. I remember that game.
And McNair. You know, it was a lot of great, players that they had, and even Dyson,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Andre Dyson.
And he had the near touchdown that would have tied the game against the Rams.
You remember that? 1-yard line. Oof.
I know. It was 3rd down. Oh?
Heartbreaking. You're there. You're like, boom, you get hit. You go down, you look, and you see you're at the 1-yard line and not the goal line. Ugh.
They call it the tackle or the 1-yard game. But, yeah, going to this game in the modern day era, the way that Josh Allen played last week and the week before the Minnesota game, this is just completely, utterly unfair. Mike Vrabel's team is going to be 4-1 after this game. In fact, it's going to get so bad that I think at some point they're going to sit Mariota after the first half and bring in
whoever the backup is, get ready because it's going to probably be mop-up duty by the end of the 3rd quarter.
Blaine Gabbert, if he's all right from the concussion.
Yeah.
The problem is
he might still be concussed.
And they signed another quarterback off the street, Austin Davis, I think it was, yeah. And the last one of the day, probably I think the worst game of the week will be Cardinals 49ers. Somebody has to win.
I think that it's going to be funny. I think the Cardinals pull it off. I think San Fran makes a blunder here or there, and I can see the Cardinals getting their miracle game. I can see everybody's probably voting against the Cardinals. I'm calling it now. The miracle game. They're going to have like a pick for a touchdown. It's going to be something like crazy with running backs running, pops up the ball, coughs it up in the red zone. Next thing you know, it's going the other way. Oh, yes, I'm calling this going to be the crazy game of the year, and Arizona pulls out the miracle and gets that first win.
Well, the 49ers are missing a lot of people on their offensive line. 3 of their Weston Richburg, the former Giant, is hurt. Joe Staley and Mike McGlinchey, the rookie out of Notre Dame, all have knee injuries. Then you look at some of the other players like Magnuson, Tomlinson, Pearson, Garnett, Toron, Coleman, Gilman, a lot of injuries on the 49ers report this past Wednesday in practice. You magnetize that, and then with the fact that Sherman is still out, you don't have Garoppolo for the rest of the year. You don't have McKinnon. Thank goodness you still have Matt Breida, one of the best running backs in the league. I still think with Breida, it will just be enough for them to pull out the victory. I think this comes down to a Robbie Gould field goal.
Nice.
I'm going with the Niners at home by 3 points. Yeah, I cannot see the Cardinals winning this game. And Steve Wilkes going 0-5 in his first year as head coach, that really could call into question that. Honestly, last week that wasn't Wilkes' fault. That was the receiver's fault for dropping passes. Yeah. I really know that Rosen is going to be a good quarterback. I'm not talking about myself. I don't have the strength to throw that well. I'm talking about what I like to call my cousin. His name is Josh Rosen. He was selected 10th overall out of UCLA. Yeah, he was a Bruin.
The Bear.
The Bear. I wish he was playing for the Bears, but I wish he was playing for the Jets. That'd be awesome because then I can actually buy a Rosen
jersey and have your own last name on an official NFL jersey.
Like that would be awesome right there, and I wouldn't have to pay extra fees for getting that. Like other people do when they want to get their last name on a jersey.
I think it's gonna be a long time before you have a Valdez running around.
Who knows?
You never know. It's gonna be a long time before a Valdez is running around the New York Giants.
Hell, I didn't think ever a Rosen would be a quarterback, and lo and behold, a Rosen is quarterbacking for the Cardinals because it's better than Sam Bradford. Anything is better than Sam Bradford.
Or Mark Sanchez. Oof.
Oh, please. Are you trying to make me vomit right now?
Oh, just a little bit.
Oh, thanks. Now, but what are you looking forward to of all the games this week? Like, what's the one that's really, grabbing your attention the most?
Well, it definitely would have to be the Jacksonville Chiefs game. Just because I want to see that matchup between Ramsey and Tyreek Hill. And then I think I want to see how they're going to shut down Hunt. I just don't see it happening. I think it's going to be fun to watch. Jacksonville has a great defense, so if any team's going to slow him down or contain him a little bit for the first 2 quarters, I think they're going to do it. They're going to show you a blueprint of maybe how to slow them down.
How to humble Mahomes.
Yes.
And I like that game, but I really am looking forward to the Atlanta-Pittsburgh game. I think these are 2 teams in turmoil right now, and somebody will come out with not only a victory, but a moral victory too as well, to really pick up the rest of the team. And if the Steelers, if James Conner cannot have another game, it's then going to give more leverage for Le'Veon Bell. So that's why Conner needs to have that great game against this Atlanta defense for sure. That is missing several key players, so he should take advantage of this, but I don't think he will. Something tells me Falcons pull this one off, and with all the points, with everything that Ryan has done for the season, and yet the team's defense doesn't help him. Yeah. That's what kills me the most.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward tomorrow, the Red River rivalry, Texas, Oklahoma, at the State Fair, where you get the most unhealthiest of deep-fried foods. I mean, they have deep-fried Coca-Cola in sugar, deep-fried butter, deep-fried bacon, anything you could think of deep-fried, and all the rides and attractions. And first, though, go on the rides, then eat the deep-fried stuff. Don't do the other way around unless... Yeah. Oh, you're a Longhorn.
Hook 'em.
Oh, that's... Yeah. Hook 'em?
Yeah, you got the Bullhorns. My friend Frankie Cruz from Texas taught me this. Hook 'em. You got to twist it. Hook 'em.
All right. I'm still going okay on the OK Corral. And there's some other good games coming up this week, too. Notre Dame, Wake Forest. That's a big 8 o'clock game on ABC. And my Gators are playing LSU, actually, at 3:30. And they're in the top 25 again this season.
Yeah, SEC.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best games of the week, for sure. I still think LSU will pull out in the Swamp.
Yeah.
I want to go there so badly, to the Swamp, as a Florida fan. That is my dream, to be at the world's largest outdoor cocktail party when Florida and Georgia play each other.
Yes.
That party is massive, nonstop.
Oh, yes.
The food, all the different drinks.
Yeah, but it's also the tailgating, the fans.
Oh, my God.
Everybody's all pumped up, high-fiving, running around.
I just want to meet some Southern people, too. I really do. I want to meet Floridians and Georgians. I want.
I'm just worried about the summer teeth from the Southerners. Some teeth here, some teeth there.
Oh, I think the teeth is. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us this week on the Blitz Zone. We'll see you here for another episode next week on CTV. Good night, Staten Island. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Nice.